Hello and welcome to Trails to Daybreak Part 2 video number 5. Today we will have a look at the virtual reality because just as I finished the last quest I got the message there is a new stage in there. So that's the perfect opportunity to talk about it. As you can see, this is the display of the Märchen Garten. We can do a few things here. We can get to the Mystic Cube. You see, we have S tokens, so we can open a cube, and in the cube can be some goodies.
Here I go. Beginning analysis.
Yes, opening the box is called analysis.
Did it. On to the next.
And with that,
Pretty darn good.
you get some extra sepit, and of course these goodies. And there is a Swin skill stone in there. Let's check the items. Yes, a Swin skill stone and some other things you can use at other points. This skill stone is a good thing because we can use it. With the skill stones you can craft an enhancement. We have one for Swin and we can get one of his crafts a little more powerful, which I don't think is that important. You see, this one I never spent anything in it. It's cost 70, the power is 230 and some other things. Now if I upgrade it, you can see the power will go up from 230 to 231. Well, that's not great, but it's an upgrade, so you want these. So on this page we have the stages we can play in the Märchen Garten. We already cleared the phase 1 of the floating isles, but I think we need to clear it a little more often to get the other boni here. And we have a second floor which we can use. It seems it doesn't matter where our people are, we can get them all together and play it around. We get this small map where we can do some progress.
Be careful moving in.
Now let's see, this doesn't look too much different than the last one. Really nice. So to progress in the Märchen Garten you have to fulfill the task on the stage. This task is, on this stage, slay the small-sized monsters and you need 8 of them. This can be medium or large-sized monsters and destroy certain things with your magic attack, or just get a certain amount of breakable objects. It's pretty easy and you will do it anyway to progress. You could of course speedrun it by just doing the bare minimum, but you want to collect most of the goodies and probably use this opportunity to get a little exp and the peat from the monsters. It's also a great way to familiarize yourself with the combat capabilities of your characters. What is... Oh, come on, did you gain weight?
Going all in.
Van! Use a sharp boost to get the upper hand.
37? Really?
We've got this in the bag. Attack their weakness with an art. Give us your all.
Take that. Do it, Swin.
Good chance for activating skill.
You're stunned.
Have some of this.
That went well.
You were amazing, Swin.
Oh, there are shards. These are the ones I can use to open that little box with the analysis.
Let's get to work.
You've got a charge attack available. Hi, they're on the ground. This'll be a cakewalk. Nana wins again.
Not a bad show, Nadia.
And since this will take a while, you know the drill, I will get back to this when I reach the boss, because me defeating all this little stuff is not very exciting. And we're back. Next stop, the boss.
We must eliminate the target.
Use a shard boost to get the upper hand. Keep it up, it's working. We've got this in the bag.
Trails into Reverie was built around the Reverie Corridors, which were a virtual reality too. More for training for the characters at first. It had its own set of secrets to uncover, mainly why it exists in the first place.
Going all in.
The level setup in the Märchen Garten is similar to the Reverie Corridors in terms of that you start a section, have to go to some levels, beating smaller opponents, and finish with a boss.
Might want a boost here.
Sadly, I have to say, Märchen Garten is quite a downgrade from what we had in the Reverie Corridors. No special mini-bosses on the pre-boss layers, no special zones with special rules. Just plain planes of monsters. There's another thing that bugs me. You need to understand German for that though. Märchen Garten is not really a thing. The expression for this would be Märchenwald, translated fairy tale forest, not fairy tale garden. Garden might be a hint to the gardens, which was a big part in the first Daybreak, and since 3 and 9 are here too, it might give us a hint about what's up with the virtual reality here. I also have a hard time to believe that Marduk just got its shiny new toy hacked just like that. There are a few organizations that could pull something like that off. Ouroboros would come to mind. Maybe one of the states like Calvert or Erebonia could muster up the resources for something that big. But that's about it. Well, there's one other thing that would come to mind when it comes to hacking something like that. That would be Elysium. But then again, Elysium is now gone and all that remains is Lapis. So
Take you on.
that seems to be far-fetched. So we have more or less two mysteries here. One is the gardens. Since every supervisor died, well, technically one of them could have been sent to jail by you, but you could have also killed her, so for the game itself, she should be dead. That means there's nobody left to rule the garden. Or maybe there is, and we didn't meet him yet.
Stay on guard.
But Nadia and Swin don't seem to think there's anybody left. Interesting.
I won't show any mercy.
Another thing is, why are Nadia and Swin here? Which ties into the other thing I just said.
Use a shard boost to get the upper hand.
Think fast. Take this.
The only other thing that could hack the virtual reality created by Marduk
I owe you one.
would be Elysium. And the only thing left of Elysium is Lapis. And Lapis is on a first name basis and a good friend of Nadia and Swin.
Let's do this.
Also, they could probably just ask Lapis to help them out with this hacking problem, because she would solve this, probably. Which can only mean one thing. The reason Nadia and Swin are here is because something happened with Lapis.
Good luck.
Now, that could mean Lapis hacked this virtual reality, or somebody used Lapis
Keep it
to
up,
hack this
Nadia.
virtual reality, and that would make sense since that would make it possible to hack the virtual reality in the first place.
Don't burn out, everyone. Here, take this. You saved
Now,
me.
where am I going with this? Now, this fight is not going anywhere. I could just abuse the Gwendol more and
Use a sharp boost to get
have
the
an
upper hand.
easy victory.
Good luck. Easy does it.
Time for a new look.
We'll take that.
What I found out about these two bosses is they have some kind of auto-impede. The moment one of my characters is trying to cast and they have a turn in between, they stop the cast, which is fine for the most part, because seriously, art damage in this game is, again, completely underwhelming.
Easy does it. Grab the
You get around the same damage from a spell if the opponent is weak against it, than you get from a link attack. Maybe they don't want you to use the link attack every turn, but only every
I won't
other
show any
turn.
mercy.
A good chance for a shard boost.
That doesn't really make sense, because if you want to make damage, you will use the link attacks.
Now I'm mad.
So they give you the handicap that you get your area damage received all the time. So they give you an incentive to get your characters a little more scattered around the battlefield. Which also doesn't work, because there's nothing I can do except attack him with normal attacks. The arts, as I said,
Give unto us the
aren't doing more damage and they take more time and energy. So that makes no sense at all. And on the other hand, every area attack these opponents have most of the time such a huge area you can't even position your characters to not get hit. Back in Cold Steel, and it's rare that I reference Cold Steel of all things, when you had
It's working.
your characters with the links and they would form a cross around the opponent if it's a boss. So one on each side, one behind him, one in front of him, and he would only be able to attack one of your characters because he didn't really have an attack that goes in a circle around him. Maybe he was able to attack two opponents at once, but if two of your characters would have range attack, you could even position them to avoid that, since one of the range is left, one of the range is right, and the two melees are in his back and in his front. So whenever he is using some kind of cone attack, he is only attacking one opponent at a time. That's how it worked. In this game, it doesn't work, and even if I position my characters far away from each other, somehow the area attack hits more than one of my characters. It's frustrating as hell, so all you have left is use brute force and make sure the fight is as short as possible. And I really think they completely ruined the tactical fights with Daybreak, period. I said it before, they focused more on the action part of the fights. I guess that's better for the new platforms like the Switch to have a more dynamic fight, while the tactical fights, they get less and less exciting. We have way less arts that we can play with in the first place. They don't really make much of an impact, and you can't manipulate the turn order with the arts anymore. The only way you can get a bonus from your opponent snatched away is by using an S-break. The new link system, as I said before, is a disaster because when you want to use them, you're always getting a lot of area attacks against you. So in the end, your strategy is let Van taunt the opponents, and if you have Anise on the field, she can heal yourself up in one big S-craft. It's even better because even if something dies, as long as Anise is there, she can just push the S-craft button and you get a resurrect on top of your heal. It's extremely convenient. That pair is the key to winning all the fights. I think that's why they have separated the two characters from the start. Anise is staying in the capital while Van is having this wild goose chase around Calvert. That's one solution to make the game a little more exciting. I guess that's the plan at least. But really, I don't see the point. The system itself is broken. When you don't have any of these two on the field, your fights get way more complicated, like I showed in the video where we had this big worm and only Nadia, Swin and Elaine. That meant they had to heal each other and somebody had to be the stand-in tank and hopefully would be the one that actually gets attacked by the boss. Which works a lot better in this game since even the bosses don't really do much damage. That's another thing. It feels like all we have is chunks of hit points that needs to be reduced that don't really do much damage, so healing whoever takes the damage is pretty easy. The thing you have to avoid is getting too much damage into your group, unless you have Anise on the field. In that case, who cares? Of course you could argue, hey, 4 people on the field and no real tank, that means everybody could get attacked. Isn't that just like the early games with Trails in the Sky and in some way Trails from Zero to Azure? And I have to say no to that, because especially Trails in the Sky didn't rely on you doing damage by using link attacks. And the links in every other game before Daybreak didn't force you to stand together, so you could still position your people like you needed them. In Zero to Azure, it seemed like the opponent was always using an area attack when it could, but stayed to the opponent closest to them whenever that wasn't possible. And if you ignore Van's hate up spell, you can play Daybreak 2 just like that. You couldn't do that with Daybreak 1 in my opinion, because it was completely tailored towards the tank healer damage dealer idea, which is a classic setup in MMORPG games. In the end, bottom line, it's seriously not back to the roots, because too many other things change that are very unfavorable for the main concept we had back then. So in the end we have tactical fights where we can't be tactical, if that makes any sense. Anyway, this fight is wrapping up, and I don't think this should be my final verdict about the tactical fights in this game, because we are at the beginning. That stuff might get better later on, although it's a structural problem, so I don't have high hopes here. Another thing that was very plainly to be seen, with the Grendel on the field, everything changes massively. So that's another thing you have to scratch your head about. I didn't use the Grendel all that much in part 1, because it felt like cheating. I guess with the damage numbers as they are, I will use him more often just to get the fights over with faster. And that's one round of Märchen Garten. I think we will climb the floors and then see what this is all about. So, until next time, bye bye.